performer they can possibly be. So man and woman.
And I mean, another person for me that I always remember some of your matches and different moments with is Chris Benoit. Now, it's a sensitive subject because I kind of feel he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but I almost feel like I can't say his name in an interview. It's a kind of a tricky one. So what are your memories of wrestling Chris Benoit and the stories that you shared with him?
Yeah. I remember him. Obviously, it's very tragic what had happened on all parts. And I just watched, I'm sure you guys get Vice over there.
Yeah, I've seen the documentary.
Yeah, and I never really thought about his son. I knew his son, David probably picked up, well, not probably, but a lot of painful things. And I didn't know Nancy had a sister, so it's stuff they had to deal with, and I really, I really felt after watching that documentary, my heart goes out for them, tremendously. But as a person, I mean, he was always a great guy. I think drugs and alcohol had a lot to do with it. And I believe he was religious, because in the documentary I heard he left Bibles, next to the bodies and stuff. Yeah. And, it's one of those things where, you always scratch your head and what ifs, and Chavo, probably lives with that, and it torments him. What if he would have, called him? What if he would have, so we can't really, live on what ifs, but we can always just move forward. But I mean, with that being said, the guy I knew, he was always great. He was always caring. He'd always give the shirt off his back. So he was always out there, wanting to, some of my best matches were with Chris. And then I was able to tag with him. And then we tagged at WrestleMania. And tagging with him, I'd work with Chavo and Eddie. And they would actually push me to go and call it out there, which made me a better person, in the ring. And, and a person, behind the scenes, because you're able to, just, approach things with a calm head and learn how to deal with things. And then, in your real life too, and just really figure out how to adjust to things as it, comes at you. Yeah. I mean, not saying my mailman's arm dragging me, but it was wrestling. Those tag matches, I was able to really take my my talent and move it forward. So, but yeah, I'll never forget. I'll tell you one thing. He came up to me and he goes, people think I'm so serious all the time because I don't laugh at jokes. He goes, sometimes the punchline, I don't get it for a second or two afterwards. He goes, not because I'm dumb. He goes, I just don't really understand jokes. He goes, but I don't want to laugh 2 or 3 seconds after the punchline because then I'll look dumb. I go, and this was in Pittsburgh at the Mellon Arena or something. It was the old arena. I go, why don't we just start off with knock-knock jokes? And I had them rolling with the dumbest knock-knock jokes. So it was, I'll never forget that. But.
And I was going back to the documentary.